Hey, how's it going? It's good to see you today. Today I'm going to look at the AEROVONS. This is a strange one. They're from St. Louis in the late 60s. They looked like a Liverpool group, and they sounded like a Liverpool group, and they recorded in Liverpool. This was supposed to be the Nehru Next 70s Poppermost, but it didn't happen. The debut album was called Resurrection, but it was dead out of the box. 34 years later, Resurrection jumped off the shelves and became a lost gem. 40 years ago, the heart and leader of the Vons was a 17-year-old child prodigy named Tom Hardman. He played piano and guitar with fervor. Brothers Billy and Bob Lombardo provided the rhythm section. They all loved the music and the antics of the Beatles. They used similar gear and were persecuted by latter-day Teds, greasers, for liking the Fab Snores. Greasers were too cool for that school. They even offered to barber crew cuts for the new pop mop tops. Back in the America, Capitol pursued the AEROVONS, but Hartman said, "No thanks. I don't want to become the next Beach Boys." The Arrows headed for London and Abbey Road, and in 1968, with a demo ready to remaster, EMI treated them to a night at the Speakeasy, one of the swinging London's exclusive clubs. On hand that night was Diana Ross, Michael Caine, and Paul McCartney. "Hi, Paul. We're from the States." Paul took a look at their band card, which read, "The Smashing English Sound," and said, "The Smashing English Sound from America? Can I keep this?" Meaning the card. Hartman was pleased as punch. It was his moment. Alan Parsons engineered both Beatles and AEROVONS albums. At Abbey Road, he said the Vons would sneak into the Beatles' room to take pictures with the Beatles' instruments. George was very helpful with guitar technique questions, and the Vons posted John was less approachable. He was guarded by Yoko, who even leaned against the wall of the loo when John went to have a mow. And the AEROVONS album was much more than a tribute. It had its own magic. It was described as a melancholy cobweb of sound, drenched in cellos, the cries of seagulls, and Big Ben chimes. Parsons remembered thinking, "My God, they really have a chance to be the next Beatles." Everybody at the studio thought that. The trouble was, the band's second guitarist, Pete Edholm, began to moan that Hartman was dominating the songwriting, so EMI sent him back to St. Louis. Then the single Train was ignored by DJs when the rest of the band flew back home, Mike Lombardo found that his wife was having an affair. You see why Yoko stuck close to John? Mike lost his mind, and in no mood to promote the album, EMI pulled the plug. No next Beatles, not yet. Hartman was never bitter. At his mom's bedside, he told her his one regret was that he could not buy her a house. She was pretty sick, but still told her son, "Tom, don't you realize that it was a ton of fun for me too?" She was a big Beatles fan. Here's the album Resurrection. 1. World of You. God, they do sound like the Brit band. That British Cockney. 2. She's Not Dead. But then a 60s guitar breakout intro. Jai, Guru, Dev. Hey, 3. Say Georgia. This is blues, honky tonk, carnival. The drummer's good. The Beatles played a couple of blues tunes in their very early days. 4. Bessie Goodhart, paper sack writer with a hog snort, or was that the walrus? 5. Song for Jane, Eleanor Rigby. These guys need a year in Hamburg. 6. Words from a Song, barbershop beat group. 7. The Train. This is like pairing the Ruddles to the Beatles songs, which is kind of fun. Have you ever tried to do that? Yeah, just look up some Ruddles songs and try to figure out which Beatles songs they're parodying. It's not as easy as it looks. And sometimes one song from the Ruddles parodies 2 songs from the Beatles. 8. Everything's Alright. Sounds like Taxman. 9. Something of Yours. Panties. 10. Quotes and Photos. Jorma guessed it on the middle 8. Jorma Kaukonen. 11. The Children. Hey Jude. If John sang it instead of Paul. Woke up, got out of bed, dragged a comb across my head. The Children was number 11. 12 was The Years, so no, they couldn't be the new Beatles. They had only a part of what would be needed. 13, With Her, but I'll be back again. 14, Here, There, and Everywhere. I added the there and everywhere. 15, Resurrection. Lucy in the Sky, On Cherry Lane, Across the Universe. Last but not least, World of You. Big Ben intro with cellos, fellows, bong bong bono. So, what do you think of that? It could have been for the next 10 years. This good, album after album after album. But that would be asking a bit too much of the lads from St. Louis. What you gonna do?